Hi, this is Tony. So today on this particular episode of Deconstructing a Mix, we're actually going to look at, we're going to compare two mixes of the same song. So I mixed both of these mixes, and I'll tell you a little bit of the story as to why this song was mixed twice and a month apart, roughly. So I was working on a mix. I wasn't really happy with it. The particular song, which is up here, which actually I'll play it. So this particular song, I was trying a technique. Some people call it top-down mixing. Some people call it mixing via instrument buses and so on. So I said, I'm going to try this out. And I did actually on a previous mix. So I was actually pretty happy with the previous mix. But for this song, I wasn't really happy with the way the mix had turned out. I just felt that it was too constrained and it didn't really give the song enough whatever, I guess, charisma or liveliness that it really deserves. So I'm going to play for you these, different sections of these two different mixes here. So I'm going to just start off maybe just with the intro, and then I'm just going to kind of loop it here. So let's see what we do. So if you heard that crash of the first mix, it was pretty, it's still a little too hot. Go to the other mix. So you can instantly hear there's like a night and day difference, right? So the first mix overall, I'm going to play another part here that's just maybe a little bit more obvious, right? So let me just play the first mix. Definitely a different animal altogether. So we take a look at these two mixes, or rather listen to them, and you might want to try it out with monitors and then with headphones and hear the difference. Right? So the first mix here at the top, I'm actually going to use my, here we go, highlight cursor. Is this even on? Here we go. Highlight cursor. So this first mix to me sounds too mid-rangey, sounds too honky. It's almost like I'm holding up a microphone up to, I'll play it again so you can hear what I'm talking about. So you can hear the compressor, right, fighting something here, particularly on the cymbals. It sounds just kind of bad. I was saying the fact that I mixed it too hot. Now if I go to the next one. So the right cymbal is not as prominent. Nothing sounds like it's fighting itself, right? So. I feel like the ride could be a little bit louder, but oh well. I feel like I hear the reverb. Maybe I did mix the second one with a little bit more reverb on the guitars during the chorus. Something doesn't sound right about this, right? I don't know how to explain it. Again, to me it sounds like it sounds as if I put up a microphone in front of my first Sony boombox, and it was playing a song, or this song, and then I held up a microphone to it and recorded it that way, literally out of the speakers, out of an old mid-rangey you know, boombox. It just sounds, I guess, for lack of a better word, honky, so to speak. So let's look at maybe a part that's not as loud as the chorus, right? And let's just hear what we hear, if that makes any sense. So this is part A.
Mother only wanted you, though she killed your dreams and your voice, and she's one for sure.
So that was done with, again, top-down mixing, as some people call it, or mixing via instrument buses. Let's try this one here.
Mother only wanted you,
Instant relief.
though she killed your dreams and your voice,
Way better.
and she's one for sure. Scathing blame.
Now let's compare the verse here, this verse right here. Again, now we're going to go to the first mix, which again was using top-down mixing techniques. Hold on, listen to that again.
It's too late.
Now we're going on to the second mix.
It's too late. So she sang. It's meant to be ours.
So, okay, in the first one... Oh, no, that's just the bass. Sorry, I thought I heard something, but no, it's just some noise from the bass, but... Again,
It's too late.
the original mix, not part A. Keep calling it part
So
A.
she sang.
Second mix.
It's meant to be
Way better.
ours. Right.
Way better, right? Let's go to this pre-chorus here. Again, let's listen to it, part A, or sorry, the first mix. I keep calling it part A. Okay, so I'm going to play the second mix. I want you to pay attention to the snare. Now pay attention to the snare in the first mix. To me, the snare in the first mix sounds soupy. It hits, but all of a sudden it falls apart the moment it hits. It's like, I don't know. It's like throwing like a hardened piece of mud, and then the moment you throw it against the wall, it just falls apart. Right? This is just a little bit, I guess, more focused, for lack of a better word. Let's go to the bridge here. Now we're gonna play the first mix. See, I got it right this time. Listen to the kick drum. So let's do that again. Now we're going to listen to the second mix. Again, listen to the kick drum. So the kick drum in the second mix has more punch to it. In the first mix, it's kind of weak. again, so with top-down mixing, if you're not familiar with top-down mixing, you have your instruments and you're sending them to a bus, right? And that instrument bus, so let's say you have all the vocals going to a vocal bus, and then all the guitars going to a guitar bus, and so on, right? Your drum tracks, bass, synths, everything go into their own dedicated bus. So what a lot of people do is on these buses, they will start adding processing to those buses. They will add EQ, more EQ, they will add compressors, and so on. Some people actually really go to this extent where they will actually put processors on the buses first before they put them on the individual tracks. Now, there's one thing that I do that I guess you could say it comes from the top-down mixing sort of, I guess, school of thought. I don't know what you want to call it, but and I feel like I should open up the other mix. Now I don't feel like opening it up, but let's hear this. Let's hear what's happening with the guitar here at the beginning, actually, between the two. First mix. So this not too unhappy with the snare, believe it or not, at least during that part of the song. Play it again. Let's play this part now here using the second mix. Different. I kind of like. I feel like I should go. The song is done, but I feel like I need to add a little bit, maybe more reverb or slight bit more delay on the snare. But whatever. Now I'm going to tell you something. There's times when, and I'll go back to the bridge and play it. There were times when I was mixing this song, and I've kept instinctively trying to reach to lower the monitors or speakers, right? I just kept like, oh, this isn't going through my headphones or whatever. This is going through the monitors, right? And try to lower it, and it didn't really. And I realized, oh wait, these are all the way down. So it added something to it that made it sound a little bit more like you're actually there with the band, which is kind of cool. So I can't really say the same for the first mix. Not at all that I can remember when I was mixing it the first time that I feel like there was this depth to it where I feel like, oh, I need to turn down the speakers or the monitors, whatever, right? So when I had my headphones on, because of course I check everything. So I check it in my headphones, I check it in everything. So let's go to the second part of this bridge here. Let's just hear what's happening with the guitar in the first and the second mix. All right, now let's hear the guitar again. Nice. There's just like this thickness to the guitar that's not there in the first mix. Right? The guitar in the first mix, if we go back to it, just sounds almost anemic. It sounds small. It doesn't sound as good. Nowhere near as good. It just sounds way too thin. Yeah. Here, nice and it's got some meat to it. Yeah, it's got some depth. So now let's take a look at, or let's hear what's happening with the snare roll here. Let's go to mix A. All right, right, not bad.
You're in denial.
Different animals. Again, the snare to me at times sounds soupy. I don't know any other way to describe it. So A again.
You're in denial. You're in denial.
So let's hear the vocals a little bit. Let me, I'll just pick this part here. Let's listen to part A, or sorry, the first mix. I keep saying part A.
It's feeling like it was up to me. It happened you. It's feeling like it was up to me. It happened you.
So different animals, right? Again, if we listen to this.
It's feeling like it was up to me.
Now not part B, the second mix.
It's feeling like it was up to me. It happened you.
So again, I'll just do this part.
It was up to me. It was up to me.
So one thing I do like about the first mix, the tail end, the way I mixed it, you can hear a little bit more. So when they're singing or when you're hearing, if it's up to me, it's a little bit more sustained. So here, the second mix not quite as sustained, but that's not really a function though of using VCAs as opposed to top-down mixing, right? And that's really a function of when I got rid of the processors on the instrument buses, I just could have tweaked the processors on the individual vocal tracks a little bit differently, right, than they were to get that tail end to sustain a little bit more, but whatever, right?
It was up to me.
So it's up to me, and it falls off a cliff here.
It was up to me.
Right? Up to me. So you can kind of hear the tail end a little bit better. But now there's one thing. So it's the one thing I do, and I learned this early on, long time ago when I started mixing, was this. So a lot of people talk about top-down mixing. You know, you got everything on your master bus, and then you have your processors on your instrument buses and so on. And the second mix I used VCAs. I just didn't use any instrument buses at all. There's one thing that I do take away from that sort of school of thought of mixing, which is I will actually, on the master bus, I will actually mix into a compressor and limiter. So I do that, and I'll tell you why I do that. So when I was younger and I was starting off just doing mixing work, right, I would, you know, I'd do all this mixing, right, I'd put all these different plugins or whatever, and then I'd go onto the master bus, and then I would put on a compressor or a limiter, right, and all of a sudden the mix just didn't work anymore, and it drove me crazy, right, and so it just drove me nuts. I felt like I had to remix the whole song because I had to now mix into the compressor and the limiter that I picked, right? And so I don't know how long ago, but years and years and years ago, probably not too long after that, pretty early on, I said, you know what? I'm going to put the compressor and the limiter on the master bus, and then I'm going to mix into it. So I still do that. That works for me, you know. And so, but anyways, I hope you've enjoyed this video. I want to give before we go, I want to give a major shout out to Craig Bauer. I consulted with Craig Bauer on doing the second mix. I went to him, I said, hey, you know, I mixed the song, you know, I'm not happy with it, and I need to do better by the song. And so this song here, it's got more life to it, more charisma than the original mix. Something interesting here, I'll just go to as you can see, it's got a little bit more breathing room. You can see more, I feel like you can see a little bit more transient spikes here in some of the quieter parts compared to the top part. So, but again, it's because they got compressors, on the instrument buses in the first mix, and you already have compression on the individual tracks. So I'm compressing it almost needlessly, So a lot of it meant sort of retweaking things and going down to the individual instruments and kind of, getting things right. So anyways, I hope you've enjoyed this video. There will be more. If you do like this video, please be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Again, big thank you to Craig Bauer for taking time so I could, consult with him and help me up on the second mix. The second mix here is going to be released. I want to say sometime in November, this track is going to be released. So the name of the track again is called Dead Kings. And feel free to comment. Again, feel free to also to like, share, and subscribe.